স্পিচটি প্রেজেন্ট দিব আমি Good afternoon. Greetings from the Institute of Professional IGP Bangladesh. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Thank you all for joining with us and staying with us till the end. Honorable knowledge seeker, today I am your host for the afternoon. My name is Badhun Dash. I am from Bangladesh. Dear knowledge seeker, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. IGP is a social and as a certified international training institute. In 3 years, we already served 3 million plus knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 250 plus profession and 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Professional (IGP) is a training faculty for skill development which was founded in 2020 and is generating competent candidates to meet demand in the global labor market by providing qualifications. IGP Global Professional is an education institute that provides social work globally recognized and reportable. We serve students and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that not effective to increase one skill just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate proficient generation all over the world. We distribute our services locally, nationally, and internationally to students, job seeker, job holder, and also for learners who respective campus location and distance learning platform. We are an occupational and dependable institute. IGP is one of the famous online institute from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a product, it's a part of our human race. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners for free webinar, seminar, courses about quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we also trying to serve more than 100 premium services for free, like create own portfolio website, resume builder, cover letter, motivation letter, and one knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge which can upgrade all the kids learning game, website free courses, converse sites, and many, many more. We help to empower you to learn to meet their expectation and dream and become highly skilled people. We implement several things, program, webinar, and offline online courses for youth and learners by professional trainers, speaker, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kind of youth and to promote the education of their abilities and personalities. To ensure excellent and in-depth instruction, we arrange with qualified trainers, speakers, and instructors. We extended free service to more than 3 million knowledge seekers in last 3 years. We have affiliation with universities and organizations in 70 different countries. Virtual signing with many colleges and organizations complex. We are working to create a legendary generation for future scholars and citizens who will be accountable. We are constantly prepared to assist all knowledge seekers with valuable service. Spreading knowledge is crucial for the Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and we serve them practice methods concept for the learners who represent more diversity, growth, and innovation are required. To lead a session with professionalism, passion, and integrity, IGP members are committed to offering effective best quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill level and health. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, we already completed 1,000. Moving to the next, with your support, we already completed 1,200 webinars successfully. Wow. At present, we are going to start our 1,208 program. Name is Human Potential, and today our speaker name is Professor Dr. HCAMB Meherin Mia. Before I hand over the stage to our speaker, ma'am, want to share a little bit about our speaker, CEO, founder, the Mia Company, global speaker, lecturer, transformation coaching leader, multiple global award winner. Now, it's very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP.
Thank you so much. Firstly, let me ask you, can you hear me properly? Are you able to hear me, dear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So,
Yes,
assalamu
ma'am, I
alaikum wa
can hear you
rahmatullahi wa
properly. Can you
barakatuh.
hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I greet everyone in the world with the universal greeting of peace with blessings to everybody. Before I begin today's talk, I think we should take a moment to just say a quiet prayer within each one of us for everyone across the world who's experiencing any form of difficulties in whatever way possible. Wherever you are, whenever you can, please remember everyone else that is around the world going through some form of difficulty. Right now, of course, like we know, we remember the people of Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, and all surrounding areas that were affected by this massive earthquake, with more and more people have been found deceased. Rescue workers also now being deceased. We also remember every other person in the world that is having any form of difficulty, be it in any war or be it just within a war within yourself in your home. So we pray for peace, ultimately, for everyone, and protection and safety from all kinds of elements around the world. Today, we're talking about human potential. So, thank you so much to the Institute of Global Professionals for giving me this platform, and thank you to the host and moderator for the warm introduction. I appreciate that immensely. We're talking today about a topic that I think is very, very important. It is very important, especially because us as human beings right now are faced with so many difficulties, so many challenges, and so many negatives around us that we wonder, how do we get through this? What exactly does this mean for us, etc., etc. But when we focus on today's topic, we start to see us in a different form, in a different light. And I'm hoping that by the end of this session today, you will be able to see yourself with the potential to become the better human that you need to be. Today's topic, as was introduced, is human potential. One of the things I like to do is always break things down so that we know exactly what we're talking about and what exactly does it mean. When we look at today's topic, it's human potential. This word potential, let's look at that first, okay? Potential, what exactly does it refer to? If you look at a dictionary concept, of course, it refers to you and existing in a possibility. What does this mean? It means that there's something that's capable of happening. It means that there is a possibility of something still to happen. So it is something that can develop. It's not something that's there now. And this is very important because if you need to understand you as the human with regard to the context of today's topic, you need to understand this concept very well. The potential that we're talking about is potential defined by a possibility. It's something that you are capable of doing at a later point. It's not something actual. It's not something realized and you're doing at the moment. So the potential is still to be developed. The potential refers to your ability that is not yet brought into fruition. So it's very important to understand this definition because it tells you that it is not something that is known. It delves into something that is an unknown, but it is something that you are going to aspire towards getting knowledge about. So that is the potential. When we look at this concept of human, I'm not going to go to the dictionary version, but I will ask you, what do you think it is to be human? What does this human mean? I have to ask you this. Generically, I think everybody will just say humans are humans. Humans are beings. You're someone who's made up of different organs in your body. You have meat all over the place in your body. You're made up of water. You have bones that are kept intact, and your whole being is kept intact by this huge layer of skin. And of course, you have a nerve system which charges you up all the time. The general definition of you as a human, right? You're human, I'm human, we're all humans. But within this definition of today's topic, human potential, we're talking about you as a human, me as a human, in a much more defined version, refined version. And there's so much more to that word human in today's topic. So One of the first things I'm going to say at the outset, humans, in relation to today's topic, in the context, the first thing that I want to say is humans are flawed. We are filled up with so many different things that are imperfect. We have got hopes, we have got dreams, we have got goals, we have desires, we have feelings, we are built up of emotions. And all of these come from different life experiences. And I say flawed only because it's not a negative. We're flawed because life's experiences make us go through the difficulties that show us the flaws within us. And then we grow from them to become better people, better humans. And one of the things about us as humans is that we seek the sense of belonging. You either want to belong to a sense of a family, you want to belong to a kind of a tribe. Nowadays, we even refer to our little sisterhood groups as tribes. You want this, you want to be loved and you want to seek love. You want to be cared for and you want to be cared about. And these are things that are attached to this word human that are important for today's topic. Because when we think about us as people, we need to think about us as individuals. Because at any given moment, when we all have to come together, we are coming together with each of our different sets of life experiences, our different sets of knowledge base, our different contributions that we can offer, and that becomes our collective that makes us humanity. And when we bring all of these things together and we try and bring it together so we can learn from each other, then this is where we develop the feelings and the experiences, and that incurs the emotions that you feel. And when we are flawed, we're flawed because we make mistakes. And then we learn how to fix those mistakes. We have hope, like I said earlier, we have dreams, we develop goals, you have desires, and those hopes and dreams and stuff, those are all interacted and become one that actually contribute to your overall experience of life as a human. So when you put those two words together and you're talking about this human potential, it is your possibility as a human being to accomplish what you are still capable of accomplishing. Now, I want to take it a little bit further and define that possibility because it exists within your being. Your human potential exists within your being, and that has to allow you to be human. It allows you the opportunity to experience this humaneness about you. And that experience is what is going to teach you your potentials to keep growing, your potentials to keep developing, your potentials to keep being. But if there's one reality we all need to face, we all need to face this. Your human potential or your potential as a human being is not tied to an ability to do a specific task to perfection. It is not tied to a time frame that is between you and getting that task done, for example. So you need to realize that your human potential has nothing to do with that actual ability to perform. So many of us right now, we spend so much of time and we give so much of energy into those abilities and what we think are potentials because we focus so much on what we want the final result to be that we forget there's an experience between now and getting that final result. And in that experience is where your potentials lie. So we miss the potential to become better as we experience the journey of life. And I can promise you that if, for example, you hypothetically take an analogy of you running a race. Let's just say the kids went to run a race. And you go up to the one child and the child came first. And you say, wow, so how long did you do your race in? And they give you the time frame of 1 minute, 20 seconds. That answer is going to be forgotten. The time that it took for that child to start the race and finish the race is going to be forgotten. But if there was an instance in the race that created an experience or sparked an experience of either an emotion of you as the spectator of the race or for the child who was running the race, that experience is what will be remembered. That experience is what will be counted on. And that experience is what you are going to draw from to gain potential, to learn even more. So it's not just the ability to reach that finishing line of your race. It's the ability to get from the beginning of the race to the end, and what it takes as the experience that builds your potential to get to the finishing line. So when I talk about this ability that we have, I'm talking about the question that might be asked of a child running a race to say, so how was it when you ran the race? And the experience that the child relays to you, that will be what you might remember. That experience is what matters. So your experiencing of your life as a human being, creating the potentials in your life for you to better yourself as a human being, that is what matters. And we need to see this clearly. In today's time of negatives, we need to see clearly that it is still my lane. It is still my race. I can still get to that finishing line, no matter what my space is right now. Because I don't for a second believe that we realize our human potential. Even if you fail at something, it does not mean your potential is defined by that failure. Because success is defined differently by each one of us individually. Remember, I said to you, every human being is an individual first. And we know that every individual has their own set of individual traits, characteristics, their personalities. So every sense of success is defined differently by each of us as individuals. Now, if I throw myself out there in a situation that's going to throw arrows at me, if I ask you right now, in your lifespan up until today, how many times did you sit back and have an instance happen in your life where you were just thrown into a deep end and you had no idea how you were going to get out of it? You had no idea because you're just out there now. What am I going to do? How am I going to get this? I don't know. I'm out of my comfort zone suddenly. And yet you somehow maneuvered your way through that post, through that position, through the circumstance. You got out of it. Simply being out of your normal lane does not necessarily mean that you are weakening. It might actually mean you're becoming stronger to find your way back into your true lane. So you can actually challenge yourself when these things happen, when adversities hit you, when you find yourself outside your comfort zones. You can choose your levels of challenges, and you will then realize what can you take on, what can you not take on, what can you control, what you cannot control, and then you realize what your potential is, and you work towards that potential. Because then you ultimately define your success by your goals based on what you know your potential is about to be. It's not otherwise. But this is also where we need to be a little bit careful. We need to be careful because we have made it our world. Everything about us right now in this world, we push each other to such limits. Parents are pushing their children. Teachers are pushing children. Children are pushing other children. Youth are pushing each other. Educators are pushing other educators. We're living in this competitive rat race of a world, and we are pushing each other to absolute limits. And this is an error because some of us are doing it without even knowing that this is what we're doing. But in doing this, in pushing each other to these absolute limits, what are we doing? We allowing this opportunity of experiencing human potential to become dangerous. And it's dangerous solely because we become so focused on the comfort zone and being outside of it that we ignore the growth, that potential growth of you as a human being. So you're focused only on the fact that this is what I'm used to. And now I'm pushed to the ability that's outside my comfort zone. So now I'm outside of my zone and I need to just do this because it's what expected of me. So between the two scopes, you have lost the experience. And you've lost the experience of finding more about you, your potentials of growth, your potential of development. We're ignoring these little zones of growth that we have in our lives. And it is in each of those growth zones that you can develop yourself to enhance and empower you to be the best version of you. That is where your ultimate potential lies. And yet we're ignoring it because we focus so much on the limits that are pushed onto us to become and to do, and the expectations that are set for us by others. Because we seek so badly this validation from other people. We want others to make us feel good. We want others to make us feel important. We want others to say, yes, I'm so proud of you. Yes, I'm so happy with what you're doing. But are you happy with you? Are you happy with what you're doing? Or are you just doing it because you really are this people pleaser who wants other people to be happy with what you're doing? We're ignoring the difference between what can actually be an experience of education value for you. What can be an empowering education value for you? What can be an empowering experience for you? An experience that can actually ultimately help you gain abilities to learn more about your potentials to learn, your potential to grow. Now, I spoke about something called challenge earlier on. And there's something that I found very interesting when I did a reading recently. And that is what they call challenges by choice. So I want to share this with you because it's important when we're talking about human potential to realize that a lot about our potential, our successes, and us defining who we are as human beings, defining our successes in our individual roles as a human being, all of that is dependent on the choices we make. And many of the time, life throws challenges at us. And it is in those challenges you have to define your choice of how to deal with the challenge. So it's important for us to analyze this challenge by choice concept. It's a philosophy, but I think it's an important philosophy because it encourages you and I to learn different methods of choices on how to achieve our goals that we're setting. How can we actually provide ourselves to be in an environment that is more conducive to our success in achieving those goals, in really seeking out that potential successfully? Can we do this? Are we doing it properly? Because challenging your choice actually is you empowering yourself. You questioning yourself doesn't mean you doubting yourself. Sometimes questioning yourself means that you're empowering yourself. You're questioning your choices. You're not limiting yourself to a boxed in environmental space and mental space. You're growing yourself in the growth zone. And we face our challenges deciding whether we really want to push ourselves to get to a particular thing or a particular task or not. Sometimes somebody may say to you, I think that you should be doing this, and you know within yourself it's not for you. Why do you not speak up and say, but that's really not what I think is my ability? I think I'm really good at something else. Or if you want to learn more and you don't know enough, don't be somebody who just settles for that and says, yes, I can. And then at the end of the day, you find out, I actually don't know how to do this. And you become so stressed, build up your anxiety, build up your depression, all because you have this pushed on ability, expectation on you. And it's not your lane anymore. You moved away from your lane completely. Now you're suddenly faced with a challenge. And now what are your choices on how to contemplate dealing with the challenge? What will you do? We use this challenging our choices in every moment sometimes of our lives, but so unknowingly. The challenges that we face in our decision takings, the challenges we face when we're making decisions, all of these decisions and challenges and choices we make alone. Every decision you make alone, regardless of who may give you what input, regardless of how many opinions you will have, regardless of how many kinds of researches you do. At the end of the day, your decision is yours. Your potential is yours as a human being. So when we look deeper at what I spoke to earlier on regarding this growth zone, and I refer to them as zones because in life, in the journey of life, you have all these different experiences. Some of them will be shelved. Some of them you'd be kept under a carpet because you don't wish to face them. But however they are, for me, each of them are your zones of growth. They're different zones. The one is your comfort zone, the other one's your discomfort zone. One is your growth zone, the other one is your failing zone. But none of them are zones that you're going to just throw away, because from each one of them, you're going to take something. And each one of them ultimately defines you as a human. And you as a human has potential to choose the challenges in how you will adapt your potential for success. So when we look deeper at these zones of growth, when you look deeper at yourself and how you wish to grow yourself, you will see that you can progress through any challenge that you face. And the individual that you are will determine that level of challenge that you're facing. And that ultimately will decide on the level of your potential that you realize about yourself. So when I am faced with something really difficult, I am challenged because this is the difficulty. And the level of difficulty will automatically make me raise my standard of choice and challenge. So the difficulty is at a rate of 10 out of 10. I know my ability was probably 5 out of 10 before I got to the stance where now it's become my problem. I need to get through this. So the difficulty is a 10 out of 10. My initial start rate of my challenge was 5 out of 10 for myself. Now I got to push myself. So my challenge is now set. My goal is set. My potential to reach my goal, to combat my challenge, to make sure I eradicate and get through this challenge successfully needs to be 11 out of 10. I need to know me well enough to know, can I do it? What are my steps to get there? How am I going to do this if I don't realize whether I have the potential as a human being to get through the challenge, to pick myself up from the 5 out of 10 to become the 11 out of 10 and to sail through the challenge position I'm in? It is you. If we go back to the little child analogy I spoke about who's running a race, when that initial coach or whomever it is starting the race blows that whistle, all he's doing is saying to you as the runner, your race has begun. He has not told you or decided for you how long it must take you to finish your race. He has not told you what preparation is required for you to finish the race successfully. He has not told you what is required for you to finish the race successfully as the first winner. He's not told you any of this. He has not made those decisions for you. All he's done is placed you in a lane and blew the whistle. It is you who has to decide, am I prepared enough to get to that finish line? Number one. Am I prepared enough to get to the finish line successfully? Number two. Am I prepared enough to get to that finish line successfully, perhaps as the first person across it? All of those decision-making capacities sit with you, because each of them is your potential to get to the finishing line. Whether you take on those challenges or not, whether you take up that challenge of answering these phases of your growth zones and how you get through them, that is entirely up to you as an individual, as the human being you are. Many of us, including myself, all of us, every single one of us have this tendency to fear failure. It takes a lot of work, and I know this because initially I never wanted anything in my report card growing up that had to be below a B. If I saw a B, if a C or a D, I would be upset with myself. But that's because I set myself such high targets. I did the same throughout university, but that's my own. It's my own setting up my own challenges. It's my own, what I want to accomplish for myself, because it's my lane. And I know how I want to get there. So I try and decipher, how am I going to get through this exam, because this is what I want. This is what I want my result to be. And eventually you learn. You learn as you learn empowering skills, as you learn from your coaches around you, as you learn from mentors, as you learn, as you study, as you learn through life experiences, not necessarily a certificate that's going to teach you this, but as you learn through life and as you learn through the experiences you go through of adversity, of difficulties, and the fact that you get through them, You learn that failures are not really all that bad. Failures are showing you where your weak points are, and you then have to pick it up to decipher, this is my weak point. I have reached this, but can I build myself up, find the potential within me to become better? Learn from this negative and make it into a positive, transform it, transform me, my mind, my mindset, because you are now aware. You're aware emotionally. That makes you human. You're aware with the feelings that you're feeling. It makes you human. You're aware that the goal didn't work. The goal was there. The dream didn't get fulfilled, but doesn't mean the goal is over. You can still get it just another way. Something of the sort, but you become aware. And in that awareness is where you learn that this fear of failure is not so much necessary. I learned it the hard way. I don't have to fear the failures. I don't have to fear the lower grade. I'm getting through. I'm passing. I'm okay. It's okay to not be okay sometimes. Do not set bars for yourself that are so beyond your own potential. Again, it is your capacity within yourself to understand you best. Some people will push you and push you and push you, and guess what? I have seen clients come through my door where they feel so pushed to the max that they feel they can't take anymore because they pushed into being who they're not supposed to be. They push into doing what they don't wish to do. Half the people in the world are sitting in jobs simply because they want to earn the income, but it's not a job they wish to be happy with. Unfortunately, these are things that we go through, but in these adverse situations, we have to put all our skills together. We have to pull up everything that we can muster from within us and reach that finishing line, because that's what we have to do to get through. That's what we have to get by to find that potential within us. When you start something, you acknowledge. As soon as you're starting, you're acknowledging that there's a possibility that I might not get to that end result, but from now to there, I'm going to push my best to get there anyway. So this fear of failure doesn't have to be there, because you're doing it with this enthusiasm that is already acknowledging. You're not acknowledging failure. You're acknowledging that there's growing steps, that if there's an obstacle that's going to come my way, I'm going to overcome it. I'm prepping myself, my mindset, me, that I know what my goal is. I know what my vision is. I know what my mission is, and I'm going to go after it. And come what may, I know my potential. I know my inner potential because it sits within me. The decision sits within me. The challenges I'm going to face, I have the choices as to how to deal with those challenges because I want to reach my finishing line. So when we talk of the fear of failure, that's another zone I'm talking about, the fear zone. So you have your growth zone, you have the fear zone, you have your comfort zones. You in your life, you've got so many different zones. Zoom into your zones and become more aware of who you are. What is it that works for you? What doesn't work for you? Because many of us have a long story about why we didn't get to our finishing line. Or when you got there, you were not happy with how your race was run. What would you change about it? Ask yourself these things. Do not sit and succumb to the negatives if something just suddenly stops you or there's an obstacle in front of you. Because it is up to you how you're going to get through the obstacles. How you're going to get over them. Is it a hurdle that you jump over? Or is it one that you're going to have to pull through? And only you can assess this because it is you in your life. It is you in your journey. So as humans, we try so much to please people while we're still in our comfort zone. And most of the time it doesn't work. Because when you try and do what's for others, it takes you out of your comfort zone. When you do what's best for you, you stay within your comfort zone. And you need to understand this very clearly. That once you start doing something outside of your comfort zone, you're going to hit the challenges here and there. Are you prepared for that? We know that outside of the comfort zone means that you're launching yourself into a sense of chaos. You're launching yourselves into the unknown. But we said at the beginning of today's session, that is exactly what potential is, that unknown. But it is you who has to know within yourself, I have the potential, possibility, the capability of being positive, of being successful, even though I have an unknown before me. Because you have that, as every individual across this world has within them. They have the inner strength to get through whatever they endure. Think of yourself in your life again. You have endured so much. If you're somebody who's been through difficulties, go back to one of those difficult moments where you sat there and you said, I'm never going to get through this. I can't see myself get through this. You're listening to me today. You got through it. How? By being aware, by growing through the experience, by going through that difficulty. So when we've left the comfort zone and you enter the fear zone, you just start your race. You were comfortable sitting in the stands with your friends, with your family, with the support structure, with your coach before you went onto the field and you were at the beginning of the line, the race. There, before the guy has to blow the whistle, before you start running, you're standing at that lane by yourself. So your support structure, the family, the coach, the friends, all of them are in the stand. And where are you? You're standing at the beginning of your race, the lane, and you're standing there alone. You're standing there by yourself. So you're launching yourself into this unknown zone. And all of a sudden the fear comes up. I've prepped. I've done everything. I can see that finishing line. And then you wonder, can I get it? Can I do it? And the self-doubt starts to kick in. And then suddenly they announce the countdown has begun. And you realize there's no time for this. I got to put my best into this. I prepped myself for this. All of my potential is going to it. I know I've worked hard enough. I know I have the resilience within me. I know I have built it within me. So I have the potential to get to that finishing line. I have the potential to get there successfully. I have the potential to perhaps be the first one across that line. But either way, I have the potential to finish my race. And that is where the human potential sits. This fear, the learning, the growth. This is what makes each one of us so profound in our life's experience. This is what makes it so important for each one of us to experience this life, because it's in that experience where you learn the potential you have within you. And this is why many of us go through the life's issues and we learn from them, and you grow through them. You develop yourself through them. Now, I know that there's a lot that I spoke about. There's a lot to take in. There's a lot to muster. But I'm hoping that someone somewhere is resonating with something I've said and seeing that within you sits so much of potential to be the best you can be. Remembering that potential is not right now. Don't judge yourself based on the now if you're looking for your potential. Because your potential is an unknown. Your potential is what can still be. Your potential is a possibility. But it is you who has to be positive within yourself to know, I can get through this. I can find it within me to meet that potential. What do I need to do from now to get to that point? What do I have to do to get to my finishing line? The best I can be. How can I be the best in my life's journey? What would be the most takeaways from today's session that I want to leave with you? I want you to remember that your human potential is not tied to your performance. Your human potential is continuously growing because life is continuously altering. Your performance today will not be the same as it has to be tomorrow. Your mental capacity today is not the same as it will be tomorrow. Why? Because life has thrown you stuff that's altering that. Look at the people across this globe. Some went to bed happy, never woke up the next day. Some went to bed knowing they're going to meet the next person the next day. Not going to happen. Some are in different parts of the world experiencing more positive things. But at the end of the day, your potential is not tied to what you believe right now about you. Your potential is tied to what you believe you are able to achieve later on. And it is tied to your learning experience. It is tied to that actualization within you that I can accomplish better for myself. I can accomplish something more positive for me. I can come out of this. So your human potential is not tied to your current performance. Your human potential is your potential to grow through the performance of today. Grow through your ideals, grow through your difficulties, grow through your adversities, because your adversity is your window of opportunity to grow, to find that potential of being the better you. Another point you take away today is that you alone have the choices that you need to challenge for you to be able to get through anything. And it's your choice of how you get through the challenges to be able to know what you want, when you want it, and how to achieve it. You have to define success for you. Remember that analogy of the guy that's blowing the whistle at the beginning of the race. He does not define the success of your race. You define the success of your race. So right now, success of your life is dependent on you. You finding your own potential. You finding your own human potential within yourself. And as I pointed out to you today, there are many zones in your life. Sometimes your comfort zone is not necessarily where you're supposed to be. Getting out of your comfort zone might actually prove to you that you can be better than you anticipate yourself to be. So start somewhere to learn something different about you. Start by doing something extra extraordinary. You never know. You might actually find coming out of that comfort zone opens up more avenues for you. Don't seclude yourself into the recluse of, I have to stay in the zone because I'm too scared. Life is out there, and you're given one life on this journey. It is important for us to remember throughout everything, we are human. As we started the session off by explaining, yes, you're human in the biological form, but you're human because you have the beautiful traits of emotion, the gifts of choices. You're human because you are given by your creator the gifts of emotion, the gifts of know-how, the gifts of experiences. And it is through those experiences as the human being you are that you will be able to continue to experience life as the human. And it is in that experience of life as a human that you will find your human potential. So I'd like to say again, thank you to Institute of Global Professionals for this amazing platform and for allowing me to grace the platform today. And I hope that all of our viewers, our listeners, and even people that will watch this later on will be able to take something away that helps them benefit themselves to find their true potential. Thank you so much.
আমি তো কনফার্ম না দেখে আপনাকে বারবার জিজ্ঞেস Thank you so much, ma'am, for your rich content presentation, which can impact our knowledge seeker surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seeker can only intention, learn and grow together IGP knowledge seeker. Once again, thank you so much, dear ma'am, for your presentation. Now, ma'am, it's time for our question answer session, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable ma'am, please stay with us. After a short video, we will back with our session part 2, which is question answer session. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar session and online quiz competition. The comment box want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question, webinar certification and online quiz competition. Welcome back, ma'am. Welcome
Thank
back
you.
to our participants. Ma'am, our first question is from Flami. Welcome, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Good day, ma'am. Why do people never reach their full potential? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question, Flami. Many people start off realizing what their potential is because they start off by thinking this is a kind of a goal or a vision or a mission that they have to accomplish. So, for example, let's just say you set out that you wish to do something. And then as you start to progress into getting to that point of finishing it or starting the task, even, someone or something becomes an obstacle to you reaching that finishing line. And then you become so engrossed in trying to deal with what that obstacle is that you forget what the actual mission was to begin with. And what happens most of the time is us as human beings, we have this trait to always want to satisfy other people over and above making sure that we meet our targets that we set for ourselves first. So as a result, most of the time, our potentials are never reached to the fullest because we're continuously trying to always please everybody else and make sure we meet everyone else's expectations over and above what we meet for ourselves. So when you set yourself your own potential targets, make sure that no matter what the obstacles are you may face, you are able to get through those, bearing in mind what your full potential is because your goal has to be met first. So one of the reasons many people don't reach their full potential is because they get stalled by making sure they meet other people's expectations so that those people potentials are reached based on what they do for them. I hope that answers your question, Flami.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, hello everyone. Hi. Ma'am, our next question is from Aaron. Hello everyone. Hi to our expert resource speaker. How is human potential measured?
Thank you for your question, Irene, and hello to you too. Human potential for every individual obviously changes for every person. Remember, every human being is their own individual, and as an individual, you yourself have your own individual traits, your own individual characteristics, your own personality. So your persona and your psyche and your mental capacity is all different from each other. So your human potential is not necessarily the same as the next person, which is why we have a problem sometimes when people try to push people's abilities to a maximum, when that person really can't accomplish that. So sometimes we need to remember that every one of us is different. Every one of us has got different potentials. And so your human potential measurement for each one of us will obviously differ based on that. So no set measurement scale is there for us to be able to say everyone's potential is supposed to be rated at this, and this is the questionnaire, and this is the checklist, and this is how we will measure your human potential. No. But if I, for example, have to sit with 5 different clients and I am supposed to be checking what each of their potential is, I will have to do an assessment on each of them in their individual capacity. And each one of them will then have their own human potential measured based on what the questionnaire answers are, because each one of them will be different individuals. So your human potential is measured based on your individuality and your individual traits. There is no set human potential for everyone across the board. Thank you for your question, and I hope I've answered you.
Ma'am, our next question is from Leotrim. Hi ma'am, why we are not reaching our full potential? Thank you in advance.
Hello. Yes, hello, and thank you for the question. Like I said I think it was the first question that was posed, why are we not reaching our full potential? Is because, again, we are listening to the outsiders. We are going into a zone that is not comfortable for us, and we are getting hit by different kinds of obstacles each time. And when these obstacles are coming our way, especially when they're placed because somebody is expecting something from us, we tend to move our shift of focus. And you stop focusing on what your potential is, you start to focus on what the expectation is of somebody else about you. So your full potential is not realized because you are continuously feeding off and dealing with other people's potentials. You are dealing with what other people are expecting you to do for them to achieve what they need. So if you, for example, are sitting in a work environment, you know that you want to achieve certain things for yourself, for your career. But what happens? You're starting off work, and every time somebody keeps coming to give you something to do, you keep doing everything else for everyone else. because the credibility has to keep going. Your job you need to sustain, but you are not reaching your maximum potential in your career growth. Why? Because these obstacles keep coming your way. So you need to be able to learn that as much as I have to do all of these things for everybody else, I have to still maintain that my potential for growth is still there. Through each thing that I am doing, I am gaining more experience. And in my experience in doing all of the different tasks allocated to me, I am getting better to reaching my full potential. So the reason why we don't actually reach that fullest potential is sometimes because we don't feel we're reaching it, because we keep feeding others and their potential. So remember that throughout whatever you are doing, your potential for you is most challenging, and you have got to choose how to be able to get through your challenges to reach your fullest potential, because your potential is different for each individual. So assess what your potential is and then try and work a way for you to be able to achieve your fullest one based on your individual and your mental capacity as well. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you so much. Potential, external or internal?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that for me? Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can. I lost you for a few minutes there. Sorry. The question reads, what factors? Sorry,
Okay.
I can't read the
Ma'am, our
bottom.
next question is from Ishaya. What factors leads one to realize his full potential? External or internal?
Thank you for your question. It's a very, very good one. Actually, both external and internal factors contribute to you reaching your fullest potential. The key to you reaching your full potential is obviously to be aware what exactly is the internal factors that are contributing towards your growth, and also for you to be aware of how the external factors are contributing to your growth. When we're talking about these factors, remember, we can talk about them impacting you as positive factors or negative factors. The key for you to reach full potential positively for yourself is to know whether these are factors externally or internally that are positive for you or negative, and to learn that to reach your full potential, how do I convert what is negative into positive? When I want to talk about external, I'm talking about influences by people's wording. If somebody has to continuously belittle you, defame you, continuously bring you down, how do you keep bringing yourself back up to keep yourself in your lane so that you know that I can reach my full potential regardless of what people will think? That's just an example I'm giving you. Other external factors will be financial contributing factors. How do I do this? Remember, sometimes all it takes is for you to internally recognize I can and I have the potential, and keep persevere. Persevere and maintain your goal that I want to get to my fullest potential, even though I might not have the means of funds right now. So a lot depends on your internal capacity, because your internal factors will determine how you react to the external factors. If they are negative external factors, your internal being and whatever is within you is going to determine how you react to those external negatives, and then you will be able to learn how to transform them. So both factors are crucial for your full development of your full potential. I hope I've answered your question, my dear. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from Laksham. How to improve human potential?
Thank you so much for the question again. The best way to learn how to improve human potential, your number one step is to find firstly what is your human potential. If you're looking at yourself in your individual capacity, you need to do an assessment or self awareness about what exactly is your human potential, because, like I said before, human potential is based on individual capacity. So, your individuality, your individual traits will determine what is your human potential and what is needed for you to achieve your best and fullest potential of you. Once you define that, your next step is will be, how do I assess where I'm at right now? Is it, is this working for me as how I am? What about me needs to change? What about me needs to alter? The key though is your next step is awareness. Awareness of what about you needs to be changed. Because remember, you can't empower yourself. You can't gain knowledge about something if you don't know you need the knowledge. If you don't know something has to change, you're not going to know that you need to change it. So these are the number two, one and two. The third very important point is your challenges. You need to realize that for you to gain and improve your human potential, you need to understand what challenges you might face when you are trying to alter the negatives to the positives. Are you prepared for those challenges, and what are your choices to actually change them? Decide then, once I identify these are my difficulties that I might encounter, these are my potentials of how to get through it, I will then endure, I will get through. Your self talk is also very, very important for you to get through all the negatives that you experienced. But to improve your human potential, to get through to your potential at the fullest and most maximum positive, the key is to be able to know you, define you, and then redefine you. Redefine you, understanding what your full potential is based on your goals, based on what you're setting out for yourself. And know, though, that even though you might sit today and do this introspection, you might sit today and do this analysis about yourself. If you do it 5 years from now, it might be different because life is constantly changing. Everything about you will constantly change as a human being as life keeps changing. So as your experiences of life keep altering, your potentials will keep altering. So it's not a one day task where you will sit now and you'll do the introspection, you'll do the awareness about yourself, and you're going to start to change now and it's going to stay that way. No, because life is going to constantly throw things at you. Your potential has to keep growing as life keeps altering. So your improvement of your human potential grows as life develops and grows with you on your journey. I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Next question is from Isha. Is culture one of the external factors?
I'm sorry, is what one of the installed factors? Is culture. Is that the word? Culture? Sorry, ma'am. Could you please repeat the question? I can't read it at the bottom of the screen.
Yes, ma'am, of course. The question is from Isha. Is culture one of the external factors?
Thank you so much for the question. Culture is determined by you. Okay, every one of us, like I said at the beginning of today's session, we all as human beings love to belong to a specific, we have the sense of belonging that we crave. We have the sense of, I need to belong to a group, I need to belong to a tribe, I need to belong to a faith, I need to belong to a religion, I need to belong to a family. Likewise, I need to belong to a culture. So culture is self defined, culture is different per person. Like full potential of human potential is defined by every individual, culture is also defined by every individual. If your culture is something that is based on you and you are happy within your culture, then it should not be an adverse, difficult factor to deal with. If, however, imposition and other people are imposing cultures from outside of you, outside cultures that are coming onto you that are making you feel overwhelmed, that are making you feel that you need to alter anything about you for your potential and your growth, then it becomes a negative factor. But remember, culture is your own. Culture is from within you. Culture is not something that is an external. It's your culture is something that is defined by you for yourself. Culture is not something that comes from other people that needs to be imposed on you. So as much as you can be who you are amongst other people, I'll give you an example. I am me. I am I'm in a hall and there are hundreds and thousands of people around me, all from different types of cultures, all from different types of faiths and religions. It does not alter who I am, regardless of who the external people outside of me are. I remain who I am. I remain me. So you need to be able to decipher you are who you are within your space, within your human being, within your form, and this is who you are. Other cultures around you, other things that are happening around you, they don't have to impact you negatively once you are happy with who you are, with the culture that you are based in. So cultures imposed on you that have negative effects on you, that could be an external factor that's deterrent to you finding your full potential. But culture is an external factor. It shouldn't be. Culture needs to be from within you, for you, and it's about you and individuality. I hope I've answered your question on that one. Thank you so much for the question.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Ma'am, our next question is from Lakshma. What are personality traits?
Thank you so much for your question. Personality traits are traits or different kinds of characteristics that develop you into who you are as a person. So if you want to understand personality, forget the word traits. Think of the word personality. Personality is the word that comes from person. Person is at the beginning. Person being you and your individual. You are a person, you are the individual. So therefore, you develop your personality. What develops your personality? For example, I can be born into a specific environment. I am, as a child, growing in my environment, and I am conducive to actually only sponging off everything that I am seeing. So, as I'm growing up, without having to go to the outside world, all I know about me and my personality is what I'm sponging off from those around me, which is my family. Once I go into the school environment, other factors that I'm learning about outside of me start to alter that personality I developed. So, what was normally me as the child in a home has suddenly learned about different things outside in the outside world, and I encompass these small little things about me, and that becomes different forms of traits in my personality. So, for example, if I was once somebody very recluse, very quiet, very I never used to do stuff in my home, etc. And all of a sudden, I become somebody who talks a lot. I tend to like to be with other people. It's a trait of mine that has changed because a part of me in my person has learned about this outside factor that has contributed to my traits. And I have now developed that as a personality within myself. So that's just a hypothetical example. Personality traits are developed as your life progresses. I'm somebody who firmly believes that no one is set in a specific personality trait. You keep growing as life alters and as life changes. your traits develop and you keep changing. So your personality comes from your persona, from your person, and the traits that you develop that attach to the personality are what you gain as you go along. The thing that you need to be very careful of is, are your traits actually in tune with who you need to be as the best person that you need to be? Many a time, people, for example, tend to become something they're not because they want to envelop traits from other people that don't necessarily match into who they need to be. So this is a very, very vast topic on its own. I can give a whole talk, a lecture on personality traits, which maybe I will do at the next IGP session. But it's a very good question. And I hope that I've answered it in a little bit of a way right now so that you can understand that personality develops from your persona and you as a person in your individual capacity, and the traits that you develop within your personality come as life and your experience unfolds throughout your life's journey. So thank you so much for the question, and yes, this is a very good one. It's probably something that I will talk about more in another session. Thank you so much.
Once again, thank you so much, Honorable Ma'am, for your time in RGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topics. It will add some value to our day-to-day activities along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable Ma'am, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new day. Thank you, ma'am. Take care.
Thank you so much, and thank you, IGP, and take care, everyone. And let us keep each other in prayers as we get through these difficult times throughout the world. God bless you all, and thank you again, IGP, for this platform. Thank you so much to you as well, dear moderator. I appreciate your work today. Thank you very much, everyone. God bless.
Ma'am, before we move to the next webinar process, if you want to leave this studio, you can, ma'am. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, it's time for our webinar certification, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. We'll start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, it's time for our webinar certification process, the most attractive part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Today our webinar topic is human potential and the code is IGP 4028 and the code is IGP 4028. Without code, no one is eligible for certificate. With code, you can claim your certificate anytime. How to claim an e-certificate? Go to www.eduigp.com, click sign in, log in if you already an account or create a new account if you are new. Once login, click free webinar, select the webinar title or click continue course, get enroll. If you haven't enrolled yet, type the code in your certificate code box, click get your certificate. It is auto downloaded in PDF file already. Just check it in your file manager or download folder. Don't forget to leave a review in our FB page, website, and in Google. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, it's time for the most engaging part of our regular webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. To join the quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Go to www.slido.com and find today quiz or scan this QR code for direct joining. The quiz code is afternoon. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is Please join in Slido with the code and the code is afternoon. With 44 people, we are going to start our live session right now. Our first question is, can kinetic and potential energy be deducted by the human eyes? Option 1. Energy can only be deducted while being carried by light. Option 2. Energy is seen by being carried by light. Option 1. Energy can only be deducted while being carried by light is right answer. 68% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Jordan is holding the first position. Our second question is, which of the following would not raise concern or be a potential sign human traffic? Option 1. They are in a close relationship with someone random online. Option 2. They are hired and asked to sign an employment contract. Option 2. They are hired and asked to sign an employment contract. The right answer. 38% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Julius is holding the first position after completing our second question. Our third question is, a person satisfied their lower needs and achieve their full human potential explained by option 1 type B, option 2 self actualization. Option 2 self actualization is the right answer. 89% people are right here. Ricky is holding the first position. Our fourth question is, when the productivity potential of soil falls by 10% due to drought and human activities. Option 1 desertification, option 2 water logging. Option 1 desertification is the right answer. 77% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Ricky is holding the first position. Our fifth question is, human resource objective includes option 1 talent development, option 2 labor productivity. Option 1 talent development is right answer. 50% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Evelyn is holding the first position. Our sixth question is, all are signs of human trafficking except option 1 active withdrawal, option 2 maintaining eye contact. Option 2 maintaining eye contact is the right answer. 74% people are right here. The leaderboard Aaron is holding the first position. Our seventh question is, human resource can also be called HR. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 1 true is the right answer. 100% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Aaron is holding the first position. Our eighth question is, human resource planning is option 1 completing a specified task to a certain level of quality, option 2 identifying current and future employees' needs. Option 2 identifying current and future employees' needs is right answer. 65% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Aaron is holding the first position. Our ninth question is, human activities are encouraging the greenhouse effect. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 1 true is the right answer. 88% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Genelian is holding the first position. Our last question is human sex cells are made in the option 1 ovaries, option 2 ovaries and spleen. Option 1 ovaries. This is the right answer. 95% people are right here. Congratulations, our online webinar quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online webinar quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. At the end of our session, we can say properly feed your skill, never stop learning, cause life never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you want to live a happy life, tie to a goal, not to people or things. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the end live button, I again wants to thanks all IGP knowledge seeker for your active participation as well. See you again in the next session. Thank you.